So this time we're going to put a bandage on the hind leg, and I'm going to cover the toes, especially if they need to search and there are some wounds on the very bottom. It's hard to leave those open because we need to treat them. So again, we're definitely going to do our stirrups. Tab here. And I'll just put these together. You can put a tongue depressor in there if you want, but the tabs allow me to open this when I need it. So especially for pad wounds, I would put some ointment on there perhaps, and then my treatment, my Telfa pad, and so then I've got my stirrup leather and my wound layer. The next is our padding. Padding is very, very important because that's going to allow the foot to swell without causing a tourniquet effect and cutting off blood supply. So I'm going to wrap this around. Again, I cover about 50% of the former roll. If you're in the field and you don't have all this fancy stuff, you can certainly use a sock. That would be fine. Now, I'm going to use the next layer, which is our stretch gauze. I like the 3 or 4 inch because the thinner it is, the more likely it is to stretch to be tiny and cause a tourniquet effect. So I pull down just on one side, but on this time, I'm going to open my stirrups and put a layer between. Yank there. Pull and through. If I were bandaging for a fracture or a luxation and I wanted to put a SAM splint in, I would put that next here. But if we're just bandaging for wounding, you probably don't need it, and that would be covered with your gauze. So now that we've got our padding and our gauze roll to hold it on, we're going to use our stirrups and we're going to flip them up. So this will prevent this from slipping down. It's against the fur and it's holding up the entire bandage. So those are our stirrup flip. Our next layer is our water resistant but not waterproof vet wrap or Coban. So I start this here, and then I go back and forth, and then back around. I just pull on one side. So now I have a bandage that's covering wounds on the bottom. Pull lightly, and it will stick to itself. So if I'm putting on a bandage to protect them for an entire search operational period, which could be 8 to 12 hours of work, I need more because this will just be shredded. Our 6th layer, it's called Elasticon, is also stretchy so we don't get that tourniquet effect. Nice and sticky. And around we go. Pull around. You don't want to just keep pulling really tight because you can get pretty tight, which is great if you want to stop bleeding and use it as a pressure bandage. And I just take it just above this bandage right here, and that's an extra sticky spot to prevent slippage. At Oso, when they worked in the mud all day, this would shred as well. So we added a duct tape layer. You have to be careful if you're concerned about a slippery surface, but this is a bit rough. It worked really well for the dogs there. And then I just put this on in strips. And it would last the entire shift. It even went through the National Guard's decontamination unit. And the dog's paws were still dry. And that is our working bandage that you can also treat wounds with.